Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fantastic episode of the Two Geeks, Two Furious podcast. I am Zach Berman.
Caleb Berman.
Caleb, I'm going to tell you something, and I don't want you to say anything until after I tell you the whole shebang. It's pretty short, but I want to see if you have the same reaction that I did, because I had a one-word, one-syllable reaction to it. So, Dick Grayson. All right? Nightwing is done. There's a new comic coming out called Grayson, and it's about Dick Grayson, and he's a spy. What do you have to say about that?
Why?
That's my exact answer.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, people aren't that happy about it.
Of course not. That's dumb.
Yeah, they released the first cover of it, and it's like Dick Grayson is in like spy outfit, and he's like flipping over, like doing a backflip.
That sounds freaking dumb. Nightwing's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand. Like, it's not even like spies are like the thing right now. Mm-hmm. That was a few years ago when they had like a new James Bond was coming out. Chuck, Burn Notice, that sort of thing.
Agent Cody Banks, you know, all that kind of stuff.
I forgot about the movie. What was that guy's name? Frankie Muniz.
Yeah. He fell off the face of the earth.
No, he retired. He does not like NASCAR, but still race car driving. At least he was. I don't know what he's doing now. But yeah, I don't understand. I mean, that's kind of, there's a lot of people who like Dick Grayson as Nightwing, so why make him just regular Dick Grayson as a spy?
That's dumb.
Yeah, they were being dicks, I guess.
Let's see what you did there.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about it because they haven't released any information about it. But I just wanted to see if you had the same reaction I did, and I saw it and I just wasn't, why? It's not like that's really, really stupid. It's just more like, I don't see why they do it.
Yeah.
It could be good. I mean, it's going to be a weird way to look at the character.
I mean, you know he's going to be Nightwing again eventually.
Probably. Sort of like Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's already Peter Parker again, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're coming out with Amazing Spider-Man #1 soon.
Oh, so they're going back to Amazing?
Yeah. It was a huge deal when they ended it. They're like, oh, the non-stop run of Amazing Spider-Man is finally ending with issue 700. And then they did like 20, 30 issues of Superior Spider-Man, and it's Peter Parker again, and then just going back to Amazing.
Well, they rebooted just like DC did.
Right.
So I think they were coming up with a cool way to build up anticipation for the reboot of Spider-Man.
But here's what's dumb. Before they rebooted back to #1, there was like issue number 700.1. 700.2, 700.3, and so on and so forth.
So they drug out the 700?
Yeah.
Even though all they're doing is rebooting it anyway?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So while we're on the topic of superheroes, we just watched the X-Men trailer.
The new X-Men trailer, which I was waiting hours for because it was supposed to be up at 8 and it didn't get up online until 10. And I watched it and I was just like, oh, nerdgasming all over the place. Because it looks amazing. But it also looks like it's not going to make any sense. But it looks amazing. So.
It looks like it'll make more sense than it did before.
Yeah.
The last couple trailers didn't show anything about the movie.
I always nitpick the plot holes in that franchise. And there's a couple that already look like they're fixed in the trailer. But, of course, leave it to me to discover more. So, I don't know. But it does look awesome.
Yeah, it could be pretty cool. It's another one featuring Wolverine mostly.
Yeah.
And then they're making another X-Men movie. And then they're making another Wolverine movie.
I really don't think they should make another Wolverine movie. I think that's a terrible idea.
Well, they want to get one more in with Hugh Jackman before they reboot it with someone else. Because he's getting old.
They shouldn't do that either. I don't think they should get anybody but Hugh Jackman to play him ever.
I don't know.
Like, I'm going to be that guy because I just love Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's perfect for the role. I mean, other than being like 2 feet too tall.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about Wolverine the other day, and so he's got that insane healing factor. And you know what happens when you work out and build muscle, right? Where first you got to break it down. That's why it hurts.
Right.
And then it'll repair itself and then compensate with more. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, like,
how does he get buff?
No, what would take you and I like 6 months to accomplish in terms of working out, he could do in a matter of hours.
Oh.
He'll just work out like super hard and then just sit down for 10 minutes and then suddenly it's like,
yeah, and
he's ripped. And then I was also thinking, so while he does have that healing factor, that only kicks on if something's damaged, like I said, when he was working out, that sort of thing. But they pack on what I'd say 150 pounds of metal onto his bones, right? Because that stuff's got to be heavy. Mm-hmm. Well, no, because he sits down on that motorcycle in Origins, and it's like,
yeah.
So they pack him on that, and then he like snaps, and next thing you know, he's like jumping out of that thing and running. Mm-hmm. How's he doing that?
Pretty sure he's got super strength, not like Superman level or even Captain America level, but he's stronger than like a normal dude. I'm pretty sure. So
yeah, but that still doesn't change the fact that suddenly, like, he was walking. They put him in a thing. You know, do a bunch of surgery, add 150 or so pounds of metal onto him, and then next thing you know, he can still run if he was.
He let the beast out, man. He's got that animal rage.
Yeah, maybe it was like you know, we've heard people have an adrenaline rush and then they lift up a car off of somebody.
So, like, he had that initial rage, and then after that run and all that fighting, then, like you said, he's got his muscles all used to the. He's got them all pumped
well, no, because
up.
It's his first time using them while he's had the stuff, so I don't understand how he can immediately, like,
just the adrenaline.
Jump up.
It's the rage.
Maybe. I don't know. And how do he swim? Because remember, he jumps off of that like waterfall.
That's fair. That is a complaint. I mean, I hate that fucking movie, so I'm not going to defend it.
Well, doesn't he do it in X-Men 2 as well?
Do what? Swim?
Do the jumping off the waterfall?
No.
Or do they not make it that far? They just show him leaving the facility.
No, they show him leaving. There's so many plot holes in between those two movies.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Like in X-Men 2, he's like leaving, he's got blood all over him, and he's like, and then in X-Men Origins, he like calmly walks out and jumps off the thing. It's freaking shit.
Yeah, I don't get it. But yeah, I don't understand how he swims with all that.
Yeah, that one doesn't make any sense.
All that metal.
He shouldn't be able to swim.
Oh, Wolverine really is the shit, though.
Oh, he swims twice in that movie.
Does he?
He jumps. Remember when he jumps out of the plane to swim to the island?
Yeah.
Yeah, he lands in the water, and
I mean that's
a bit of an oversight.
Humans aren't that buoyant in the first place.
They even make a joke about how heavy he is, and
plus
when he swims.
I mean, it's hard enough for you to like find the sweet spot of where you're floating without having metal all over you. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand how he does that. He'd sink like a freaking rock.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really don't get that.
Movie's so shit.
It really is. I mean, it has some cool stuff about it.
Not a whole lot. I mean,
Gambit was cool for the 5 seconds he was in it.
Yeah.
They should have just put him in another movie. That's the problem. There's some cool stuff in it, but it should have just belonged in a different movie, not a Wolverine movie.
Wade Wilson was cool. Not Deadpool. Wade Wilson.
Well, I mean,
Ryan Reynolds actually got to talk and be awesome.
On all the posters, they have it's like Wolverine big and then tiny X-Men Origins. Mm. But when they say X-Men Origins Wolverine, they really mean X-Men.
So dumb.
It barely focuses on Wolverine.
The concept doesn't make any sense. Because they're like, Wolverine's our most successful character, so let's make a standalone Wolverine movie, because that's bound to succeed because everybody loves Wolverine more than any other X-Men, so let's just put him in a movie by himself. And they're like, well, we can't have this movie be a success without cramming a shit ton of X-Men in it. So they crammed a shit ton of X-Men in it. I mean, that's not the only problem. The movie has shit writing and...
My biggest problem is... what's his face? Stryker. Mm-hmm. I'm not even going to call spoilers on this. Because if you haven't seen the movie, you shouldn't give a shit, so...
Yeah. Like, if you've seen the movie, it's not spoilers, obviously. And if you haven't seen the movie, don't ever see the movie and don't give a shit because it's shit. So we're just gonna.
Or just like look up the best scenes on YouTube or something. Just the one scene, no, the two scenes with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool before he gets turned into Deadpool.
Yeah,
those are the coolest scenes. But so Stryker steals Wolverine's girlfriend's sister, who is
Emma Frost.
Which, first of all,
is another plot hole.
Doesn't make any sense because of.
I've got a handwritten list of all the plot holes, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
I may make a YouTube video about that before Days of Future Past comes out.
Anyway, so Stryker, well, I'm going to assume there's some people who don't know. Stryker is the guy who did the Weapon X program, which turned Wolverine into
the Wolverine.
So, anyway, so he uses that as blackmail for the girl to get close to Wolverine. Mm-hmm. Now, this girl's power is that she can touch someone and influence their mind.
Right.
And she used it on Wolverine several times. And
no, she claims she didn't. She was like, it was real for me. It was all real.
Come on, he's a grumpy dude with weird mutton chops.
He's not all that grumpy, is the weird thing.
Anyway, so... And at the end, she uses it on Stryker to make him just wander around aimlessly, which also doesn't make sense.
Because I was always under the assumption that she can only control your mind while she's touching you.
Well, she did. I mean, she touched him, said, walk for this far.
Right.
Even when she lets go, he's going to still walk that far.
That's cheating, though.
Anyway,
that's a little bit.
That's not my problem. The problem is, why didn't she just do that in the first place? It's not that hard to touch somebody. And even in the context of the movie, she said she had several opportunities where she was in like 2 feet from him.
Yeah. Why wouldn't she just go up and like be like, hey, let my sister go?
So he's like, I forgot your sister. And she just could be like, I mean, it doesn't even have to be, she can awkwardly touch the guy. Mm-hmm. She can just be like with her arm, like, there you go.
Yeah.
Let her go. And if she knew he was such a shitty guy, instead of touching him and saying, walk till your feet bleed, why not touch him and say, kill yourself? Or
No, that's what she did.
No, she said, walk till your feet bleed.
No, okay. He was holding a gun, and she grabs him, and like, well, like, you don't see her grab him at first, and he like points the gun at himself, and then she's like grabbing him, and she's all like, I should make you pull the trigger. But then she says the ever so generic, but then I'd be no worse, then I'd be no better than you. You know that thing?
Yeah, then we'd have...
So then she makes him walk.
Yeah, then like, X-Men 2 wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all those freaking
Jean
people...
Grey would have been fine, and then we wouldn't have to watch X-Men 3.
Right. Except X-Men 2's like the best one, so...
Yeah, but at what cost, Caleb?
Lots of
At
people.
what cost? But yeah, that's my biggest problem with it. And then,
that's your biggest problem?
They don't give you enough...
The movie as a whole is shit.
They don't give you enough development for her character. Like, literally all you get is they kiss, so you know that they're together, and then they have that weird scene where they're on the couch, and she tells him this story about the Wolverine.
It's like Kuwakawatsu or something.
Yeah, like some Japanese story or something.
Kukushu got screwed.
Yeah, she tells that story, and you're sort of like, I really didn't need to see that. It's kind of a cool story. And
they sleep together, and he spazzes out in his sleep, and he cuts her.
Yeah, and then like, that's all you get. So then by the time you get to the part where it's revealed that she betrayed him, it's like an hour later. So you're sort of like...
It's like, I forgot about her.
It's like, was she in the beginning? I think she was, yeah, she was in that one scene. So, God, that movie. At least we know this movie can't be worse than that, or X-Men 3. I prefer Wolverine to X-Men 3.
You prefer Wolverine Origins to X-Men 3?
Yeah, and a lot of people do.
No, I don't even a little bit.
It's at least a fun movie.
No, I would say X-Men 3 is way more enjoyable than Origins.
No, X-Men 3, I think, has a lot more problems.
I don't agree.
No, the problems with Wolverine are mostly with the focus of the movie. Like, it can't decide what it wants to be. X-Men 3 knows exactly what it wants to be, and what it wants to be is bad.
I don't agree at all. I think Origins has so many more problems. There's so much just dumb stuff in it. There's bad writing. There's bad special effects. There's too many characters.
Yeah, but I mean, we watched it that one time, and we had fun watching it.
I was making fun of it, how bad it is.
But you and I only watched half of it with you because I had to go to work or something. But you booted up X-Men 3 a few months ago, and we didn't have a bit of fun.
I like X-Men. I mean, okay, I recognize that it is definitely weaker than the other X-Men movies, except for Origins. But I enjoy it. And it did kind of kill the franchise for a long time, but...
Yeah, I don't know, it's just...
It's pretty shit, I'm not gonna lie. But
Wolverine doesn't try to be deep at all. So you've got that. X-Men 3, it's trying to be deep. And then they kill off Cyclops at the beginning.
Which is dumb.
And it's a completely throwaway scene. Like, it really doesn't impact much of the story.
He gets the shaft so much in that series, it's not even fair.
Just that stupid scene. The visuals are cool when Wolverine's going up trying to stop Phoenix. And
you get to see his skeleton or whatever.
Yeah, his skin's getting peeled away. That's cool. But the whole crying thing, because they were trying so hard to force that, like, that romantic connection between the two of them.
Which never made any sense in the first place.
And it never worked. And it's almost like the writers tried, but Hugh Jackman understood the character better.
Yeah.
So never played it up. Because I've only read a few Wolverine and a few X-Men comics, but he's not one to get sappy.
Have you ever read anything with him and Mariko in it?
The Frank Miller one?
No. Well, yes, that, but she's also in the comics, the X-Men comics.
I mean the comic, the Frank Miller comic?
Yes.
Yes.
But she also shows up in the X-Men title as well.
Yeah. I read the Frank Miller one.
Because
even then he wasn't
pretty sappy.
But if I remember correctly, they built it up a bit more. In the X-Men movies, it was literally like he just saw Jean Grey, and then it was just instantly they start with the romantic stuff. And
it was a little weird when Mariko first showed up in the X-Men comics, because he was like, "Oh, she's cute," and he goes and talks to her. She's like, "Oh, you speak Japanese?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And they're like a thing or something.
Yeah, but in the movie, it's like it's literally like he sees her and they start hitting it off. I guess they attempt to start hitting it off, but you're like literally, the scene before this, he was freaking out on a bunch of people in a bar.
Are you talking about with Jean Grey?
Yeah, in X-Men 1.
See, yeah, it's awesome because how they meet is like he's unconscious, right? And she's like trying to like put a needle in his arm and see if he's okay or whatever. And their very first encounters, he wakes up and he strangles her, and then storms out. And then it's like love at first sight, I guess.
I guess it'd be fine because he's like half animal,
right?
It'd be fine if they were going from the angle that like he sort of, like if there's a starving dog on the side of the road, you give it food, it's gonna love you for the rest of your life. If they played that angle, they don't.
That's a little bit pathetic, though.
It still worked. It still worked in the video game, which is generally considered pretty good. The Origins Wolverine video game. He has a power where you push a button and it goes into his animal senses.
Yeah,
it's one of the coolest things about the game.
It's a cool power that I think they should play up more in the movies.
When they do reboot the franchise, I think they should play up more of the animal.
I don't think the franchise is going to get rebooted for a long time because Days of Future Past is kind of a way for them to not reboot, but sort of breathe a new life into the franchise and keep it going.
No, they said it's Days of Future Past. What's the big guy?
What?
The first mutant?
Apocalypse.
So it's going Future Past, Apocalypse, Wolverine movie rebooting.
No. X-Force is next. They're making an X-Force movie, which is a spinoff.
Does that mean Deadpool?
It means maybe Deadpool and probably Cable.
Okay, so oh my god, I'm hoping they go X-Force, have Deadpool in that, then they can get Deadpool his own movie. Then, here's what okay, let me explain. This is what I would do. X-Force with Deadpool solo movie, X-Force 2, Deadpool and Cable movie.
Oh, okay, I thought you were going to want them to do some bullshit Deadpool cross-continuity, breaking the fourth wall bullshit.
Well, no, I'd go X-Force plus Deadpool, introduce the character again, make him popular. All right, because the problem with... They can't get the movie greenlit because they can't justify doing a Marvel movie that's rated R. With, like, a regular superhero.
What was The Punisher?
With a regular superhero, and that wasn't that successful of a movie, either of them.
Well, because, I don't know, they weren't very good.
Okay, so I'd go X-Force, Deadpool, give you a taste of Deadpool again. Then, Deadpool on his own. Then, X-Force, Deadpool, again, shows up in it, but this one will focus more on Cable. Then we can go full-on Deadpool Cable movie. Because... Have you ever read any comics with Deadpool and Cable?
No.
It's fantastic. Because Cable, for those of you who don't know, Cable is Scott Summers, which is Cyclops' son. And he's all futuristic. He's like a mercenary. He's like part robot. Mm-hmm. He's really cool. But Cable's like dead serious, like badass, like Arnold Schwarzenegger type, you know? Yeah. Like an 80s action hero. And then Deadpool, everybody knows he's crazy. Mm-hmm. So it's a pretty good combo. So that's what I would do. So X-Force, Deadpool, X-Force 2, Deadpool Cable.
If they do Deadpool again, I doubt they do the breaking the fourth wall thing. If it's in an X-Force movie.
If they did, they do it, I'd say twice in the movie. Just like a minor thing.
But if it's X-Force, if it's like a direct spin-off, that doesn't really make any sense, direct spin-off. But if it's like part of the X-Men series, I just don't think it would work. It would bother me, I'm not going to lie.
I love when people break the fourth wall, that's my thing. But like, they could do it like back in the day with, like Bugs Bunny and stuff, where they'd like look at the camera and they'd be like, "Get a load of this guy."
But that's a cartoon, though.
We're talking about a comic book movie.
Yes, but
they'd have to do it at least once in the X-Force movie.
Yeah, all right.
So people don't go into the Deadpool movie and go, "What the hell is happening?"
Yeah.
But he's an important part of the X-Force because.
He's an important part of modern X-Force.
X-Force was D-list.
Yes.
Deadpool came in, they moved it up to like B-list.
Right.
Because people wanted it for Deadpool and they wanted it for Cable.
Yeah.
And shit, who's the girl with the big boobies?
I don't know.
In the X-Force.
That's every comic book girl ever. That's big
specifically
boobies.
In the X-Force.
Psylocke?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
She is super fine as far as comic book characters go. She wears, like, no pants.
Was Domino a villain of the X-Force, or was she...
I mean, all of them are X-Men characters. So...
I think she was.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Psylocke appeared in an X-Men book first before she appeared in... I wasn't even aware she was a major part of the X-Force. I don't read any of the current X titles. I've only read the old shit.
There's so many of them. I tried to read them. I read the first, 3 issues
of all X-Men, of them. There's, all new X-Men. There's Uncanny X-Men. There's Uncanny Avengers, which is Avengers with X-Men characters in it. There's X-Force. There's Cable in the X-Force. There's just so many X titles. It's freaking insane. I read the X-Men First Class comics, and the great thing about the X-Men First Class comics, which has nothing to do with the movie, by the way, the great thing about the X-Men First Class comics is you need no knowledge of any continuity to read them. They're all standalone stories.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And I've also read the early stuff, sort of early stuff, not like the 60s stuff, but like X-Men got canceled after a while, and then they brought it back with Giant Size X-Men #1, which introduced the new team with like Wolverine and all them. I've read that run through the Dark Phoenix saga and Days of Future Past. That's all very good.
You have the Days of Future Past?
No, I don't. I borrowed it from my art teacher. He always lets me borrow comics. He let me borrow
and he
that whole
spoils
run.
Game of Thrones for you.
Yeah, he did. He did do that.
Dumb
yeah,
dick.
Yeah, he spoiled that. Gets and yeah, he always likes to spoil Walking Dead for people too.
He should get fired for that.
Yeah.
What a jerk.
No, but he lets me borrow comic books all the time. So
where can I find this guy?
Northwest High School.
Well, no, will he be at Comic-Con?
He's usually at Comic-Con, yeah.
Well, I mean, he signs stuff sometimes, doesn't he?
No.
I thought he did that one time.
I think he works stuff. I don't know.
Find out, because I'm going to have a word with him if he's at Comic-Con, because that's the one surefire way I can find him without going to your school. Mm-hmm. So, I'm going to tell him, be like, look, I was trying to get my brother into Game of Thrones, and then that thing happened on that Sunday, second episode of fourth season. I was like, I'm going to Clockwork Orange style force Caleb to watch this show. And then he spoils it for you.
Yep.
What a dumb prick.
Come on, man.
He has good artwork.
And he's really into comic books, and he's awesome.
I don't give two shits about that. He ruined a fantastic show. So how are you liking Game of Thrones so far? I know it's off to a slow start.
It was off to a slow start, but it started to kick in a little bit, and it was badass.
Isn't it? Who's your favorite character so far?
Snow.
Jon Snow?
Definitely Jon Snow. He's a badass.
Yeah, you haven't even seen that much of him yet.
Yeah, I know. But he's badass, and he's a sweetheart.
Isn't he? Mm-hmm. Always tagging along with Sam, helping him out.
Yep.
Making him feel good about himself, being his friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so...
him and the cute little girl. What's her name?
Arya Stark.
She is adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my. And her sister is adorable, too.
You're going to get real confused about your feelings about Arya, though.
Why? When she turns into a boy?
No, not even that.
Oh, spoiler alert.
You're like, I don't... Is she adorable? Is she badass?
Yeah.
Can you be both?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be able to tell. But she's pretty cool. You like Tyrion?
Yeah. He's
Dinklage's pretty good actor, right?
Yeah, I like me some Dinklage.
How about that part where he's going to get executed?
Yeah.
And he confesses to crimes.
When he confesses his crimes, that's like the greatest scene.
Milks his eel into the turtle stew.
which I believe my sister ate. At least I hope she did.
Oh, he's fantastic. There's so many good characters, and there's so many that you love to hate.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't seen much of Joffrey yet.
He's a dick, though.
Oh, yeah. You're going to like him. Well, you're going to love...
To hate him?
To hate him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that's...
He's getting it in good with the cute girl, so...
I know that's the situation with, like, the governor in Walking Dead.
Because he's so cool.
But we're talking about a show that's... Like, in terms of writing, you've got Breaking Bad up here, all the way as high as you can go. Then literally a microscopic, like one atom away from that, Game of Thrones. And then you got Walking Dead that's like in the negative zone.
What? Come on, man.
No, that show is notorious for its bad writing. Remember that one chick? What was her name? The one that finally got killed.
Wow, I can't even remember her name.
Andrea,
yeah.
Oh.
Spoiler alert, guys.
Like, I think I was supposed to like her. I think I was supposed to feel sorry for her. I think I was supposed to sympathize with her. But she was so poorly written.
Also, I think I'm supposed to say spoiler alert before we say that shit. But, whatever.
It aired over a year ago.
Was that long ago?
Yeah. They had a long break in between
episodes. Right. That was the end of...
Yeah, they had a long break.
Season 3 and Season 4 just ended, so...
Yep, they had a long break between seasons, and that season just ended.
There was a mid-season... There was a pretty lengthy mid-season break, too, so...
I hate that shit.
I don't get that. Every freaking show has a mid-season break now. It's bullshit.
Well, it's because...
And you know what's even worse? Is every show... seems to go on, or every show that I watch at least, seems to go on mid-season break at the same time. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Like homework and shit?
So, no, back in the day, well, now, all the shows are staggered, and now you've got Netflix where you can watch other shows.
That's fair.
Online. But I heard somebody talking about this, somebody old. Well, not super old. I don't remember who it was. But even when I was a kid, to a lesser extent, but when TV was first getting real big, all the shows would be playing.
When TV was, in your lifetime, when TV was starting to get real big?
No, I said to a lesser extent when I was a kid.
Okay, all right.
But definitely when TV was first getting real big. I mean, I don't mean when TV first came out, but I mean like 70s, around that. Like, and you can still even like read about it online. Like when a show was done playing new episodes, or even when show was done for the night, that was it. Like at a certain point at night, like we were watching Impractical Jokers the other night till like midnight.
Right.
No, it'd be like 10 o'clock maybe, 9 o'clock. Done. No more programming. They just shut off the TV. And then when all the shows just kind of ended at some point during the year, and then for like a month you were just, or 2 or 3, you were just done. That was it. That's all you had until the shows came back up.
Is that true?
It might have been, I don't remember when it was. It might have been the 80s. I don't know.
That far along?
I wasn't
feel
alive
like that's
then.
Probably not true. I feel like that would have had to been like a long time ago.
No, I've read a lot mostly about movies, but I've also read about TV. And that's how it was. It's like all the shows would run for the same amount of time, and then when it was done, that's it. You'd just be stuck watching the same reruns over and over and over and over again until the shows came out. But now it's like, say you watch Mad Men, that'll be over, but then you can watch Game of Thrones. And then that's over, and then, I don't know, like Boardwalk Empire might come on. Or Walking Dead, or something like that. Like, so Walking Dead just ended, right?
Right.
Game of Thrones just started.
There you go.
And that'll run for 10 weeks. And they usually have 1 or 2 episodes that'll have 2 weeks in between.
Except when Walking Dead ends, I can't watch that anymore. And then, it ends, and that also means that Comic Book Man ends, so I can't watch that anymore.
Breaking Bad's dead.
Breaking Bad is gone.
That ain't coming back at all.
That's done.
Better Call Saul.
I'm really not sure how I feel about that, but
It's gonna be
whatever.
good.
I mean, I have Arrow and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are still going on right now, which I missed tonight. I didn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. tonight. I really wanted to. But
We were watching Game of Thrones. It's better.
yeah, Zach was making me Clockwork Orange watch Game of Thrones. But
Yeah, I was dripping. I had his eyelids held open with, like, paper clips, and then I was dripping eye drops into his eyes so he didn't have to blink.
also, Psych is over. That sucks.
We don't
talk about that.
Nope. I was generally... Okay, I'm going to come out here on the air and say I cried that day.
Oh, I was so sad.
The show itself wasn't sad.
It was pretty...
No, because it had a happy ending.
Yeah, it did have a happy ending, but
And it left... there were so many scenes that they deliberately put in there to leave things open.
They put Monk in there, sort of.
Yeah,
Maybe.
but remember...
could have been.
Sean sent out his... if you haven't seen it yet, it's been like 3 or 4 weeks.
Spoiler alert. That's how I'm saying it beforehand. Spoiler alert. If you don't want to know Psych spoilers, stop listening for like 3 minutes.
And we're not talking about something that has an overarching story, really.
Yeah.
I mean, just kind
of... If you don't want to know how the series ends.
The first 3/4 of the episode was just an average episode of Psych. But remember Sean sends out his thing saying he's going to leave.
Right.
Gus goes to the psych office looking for him. And his dad's there, and he's like, yeah, he's already gone. He's like, what are you going to do? And he's like, I'm sure somebody will find something. As he's unpacking boxes.
Yeah, I felt like he was going to be he was going to open up his private detective thing.
Exactly. And then they had the part where McNabb walks in.
Or deputy detective or whatever.
They're setting it up for a movie. They're setting it up for Sean's there. Something big is going to go down. All the people in Santa Barbara, they've got their own thing going on. They're still doing the thing they do, and they're going to go up there and help.
Well, can the Psych Monk movie please happen already? It's been forever.
Tony Shalhoub hasn't done anything in, like...
He did
a
Painting
year.
Game. He did that Michael Bay movie.
That's what I'm saying.
Painting Game.
He hasn't done anything in, like, a year or so.
But, and I'm like, it's literally so perfect. Sean is a fake psychic. Monk does not believe in psychics. It is a match made in heaven, Zach.
And everything, like, Monk is everything has to be, like, done very procedurally. Sean has no organization.
They are polar opposites, but they have, like, the same way of solving crimes, you know? They're just hyper observant, but they're just
They just look at something.
Yeah, but they're just so opposite, and it'd be so perfect.
Exactly.
Be amazing. I want it so bad. I really want to watch Monk from the beginning. It's such a good show.
Yeah.
It had a solid ending. It was.
Well, I don't want this episode to be as long as the other.
Do you really not?
No. We're at 35 minutes right now.
Oh, are we?
Seems like it's only been 10.
I'm pretty tired, but
we've had, I don't know, I think once we've had a few that are really long, we should just have one that's a little bit shorter.
Let me see what's on your topic list.
They might not make any sense to anybody but
All
me.
right.
But I'm saying, I'm not cutting off exactly now, but there's one more thing that's time sensitive on my list that I have to talk about. By the way, so you know what we're talking about, I have a notebook now that I write down things.
It's not like we're scripted, but it's just topics to hit.
Yeah. And I've got like a half a page.
It was gibberish to me, so...
Yeah, I write it so only I know what it is, so people can't steal it at work. Anyway, so over the weekend, 3 people I know got married.
Really?
Now, one of them, I didn't know the guy that well. I don't have anything to say. The other one is definitely going to fail. And then the third and final one, I'm not going to use any names. You'll know who it is when I explain it. Don't use a name. But the guy, first of all, 18 years old.
Really?
So, first factor, 18. Second factor, they dated for about a year. Third, they got engaged maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Not years ago, shit. They got engaged maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
Jesus.
So, 18, only dated like a year, just got engaged. He just enlisted.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So, he was gone for 2 months. He's been back for like 3 weeks. Got married.
Right.
What do you think the chances? Okay, currently, the divorce rate, 50%.
Right.
So add those factors into it. What do you think the divorce rate for that one's going to be?
100%. 110%.
Exactly. And he told me, before he did it, he was like, just in case you don't know, he said something along the lines of, hello, governor. I'm going to propose.
This guy.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
And I said, don't do that, man.
Wait, how old did you say?
18.
Is he really?
Yeah.
How long have you known him? I thought you knew him since like high school.
Yeah, he was younger than me.
I didn't know he was that much younger than you.
Well, he moved from across the pond.
That's
so
right.
He was, so 8th grade.
So he's ahead.
8th grade, that would put me at 14.
Mm-hmm.
He was 12.
Jesus.
So he's maybe 19, depending on what month our birthdays are both in.
And he's already tying the knot.
Yeah.
Seems like a shit idea.
Yeah.
I bet they'll be divorced by our next podcast.
I think you're gonna... Okay, Caleb. Imagine you find a girl tomorrow. All right?
That's tough for me to imagine.
Just imagine.
Okay.
John Lennon style.
All right.
All right? Imagine you find a girl tomorrow.
I can only imagine.
Could you think of any circumstances where you would be like, within a year, you're gonna marry?
That's probably all I'd be thinking about.
Are we having a domestic dispute down there?
No, I can't tell. I don't know. Is he yelling at... It's either Ethan or the dogs.
No, there's 2 voices.
And then it's Ethan.
Well, I thought Ethan was in bed.
No, I think he got out because it's too loud, or it's too bright, or I can't sleep, or it's too hot, or one of those.
You know what solves those problems?
not being a basic
Close
bitch.
the goddamn door like every other person who sleeps.
Yep.
Which is everybody on the face of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the last time I slept with my door open, purposely.
My mom always tells me, she's like, oh, it's really hot in the house, so keep your door open at night so the air can move. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that shit.
That somehow makes my room hotter.
Yeah. It's like everybody in my house gets up earlier than me. I'm not leaving my door open.
My room is either the hottest goddamn room in the thing or cold as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think you were right. It wasn't a domestic dispute. It was the young one.
Yeah, it's Ethan being a basic
One.
bitch. Oh, he closed his door. Good for him.
Not that hard.
It's pretty fucking late.
Like, it's not our fault that he can't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's his fault that he can't sleep with the door shut.
Right.
Anyway, we've still got a shitload of stuff to talk about next week too. So,
Are you still a little buzzed?
no,
No. Didn't keep your buzz?
nah, I had a bit of drink at dinner.
Yeah, a bit. You know
I
what?
chugged that whole thing.
Yeah, right there at the end, like, he hadn't had, like, any of his margarita. I'm just like, come on, Zach, just finish it so we can go. So he just chugged the whole thing.
No, it wasn't a margarita. It was
I don't know.
It was a margarita mixed with like 2 other kinds of liquor, and like it was like drinking straight up rubbing alcohol. It wasn't like that last time I got it. So I chugged that whole friggin' thing at the end of the meal. Like, you saw me, I was like, eh.
Yeah.
That was fun.
And Ethan kept talking to you, and I'm like, dude, he's not listening to you. Like, he's trying to get this down.
Yeah, remember in the span of 1 episode of Game of Thrones, so that's an hour, I peed 3 times. But yeah, this is a good idea. Carry it with me to work.
Yeah.
Just right. So
I need to get one. I was going to get a smaller one that I can fit in my pocket, but...
actually, I've got something that's real quick. So here's our closing story. You're aware that I sometimes see some pretty amazing things while I'm driving.
Okay.
Remember the kid kicking the basketball near the guy?
Yeah.
So this was 2 weeks ago, because I forgot about this until recently, because I saw the same kid again. I was driving a pizza out somewhere, and there's a 7-Eleven down the street from work. Mm-hmm. It's like across the parking lot.
There's a 7-Eleven down the street from everywhere. But
there really is.
Yeah.
Just within the last couple of years. Anyway, so I see a kid who's clearly leaving the 7-Eleven. All right. And I'd seen the kid before. I've seen him since. He rides a scooter to 7-Eleven from his house. Like, I guess his parents give him money. Rides a scooter there. Gets a candy bar. Rides a scooter back. And so I see him, and he's eating this candy bar, and he clearly just got it. He's, like, taking maybe 1 bite into it. Mm-hmm. And he's clearly stoked. Like, he's pretty stoked about having this thing. All right?
Who wouldn't be?
And so he takes a bite out of it and then drops the candy bar. And it manages to fall straight down under the front wheel of his scooter. He runs it over. So he runs over this with the first wheel of his scooter, which causes him to fall. So he lost 1, the candy bar, 2, his balance, fell flat on his face. And then I see him, and he picks up this dirty candy bar that's on the ground, and he's just like, and then just like drags his scooter down the street.
Oh my god, you see the greatest things.
He was fat too, by the way. I think
That's sad.
he looks like the kid that kicked the basketball.
Maybe it was him. This kid's a mess. He's a mess.
What was it? Because he was going the opposite direction. Mm-hmm. And the soccer ball kid lives too far away. The basketball kid, shit. I might still have a little bit of that buzz. Then I had anyway, so yeah, we're at 44 minutes. I think that's a good amount of time.
For tonight.
Next week we'll go back to our usual time that we've had for the last 4 weeks. Mm. But until next week, it's been Zach Berman,
Caleb Berman.
We are 2 geeks,
2 furious.